That was Italian Miracle by Francesco and Gabriele. Put your hands together. Now we are lucky enough to have Francesco on the line. Currently, I'm going to welcome him. Before I bring him on, just to give you a bit of background, Francesco is a multi-award-winning filmmaker. This short film that you just watched has played at over 40 festivals worldwide. And he is also, it's won and been nominated for several awards. And he is also the lead lecturer over at St. Mary's University here in East London. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Francesco Gabriele. Oh, there he is. You're on. You're live.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Welcome. Thank you for coming. So we're going to crack straight into it. So you're a triple threat. You're a quadruple threat. Writer, director, actor, Italian.
Yes, correct. That's correct.
Amazing. So first of all, what are the challenges you find in being an actor / director?
Well, it's very complicated because you cannot 100% focus in one aspect or the other. So obviously you have to work a lot during the pre-production with all the crew, with specifically also with the other actors, rehearsing a lot, and with the cinematographer. So all the shot list and everything needs to be perfect in place. So when you go on set, basically you have time to rehearse, to improvise a little bit, but at the same time you can focus mostly on the acting part rather than the directing. So it's challenging. It's a great experience, but it requires a lot of discipline during the pre-production. Generally, having done both, also I directed things where I didn't act. Obviously, you feel less in control as a director, let's say. Yeah.
You feel less comfortable as a director?
Less comfortable, yeah. Less in control of the final product
okay.
When you're also acting, yeah.
And do you find that do you feel like you can be your full actor self within that context if you've put that preparation in? Does that make sense?
Yes, you definitely can. And you also can give, in some way, there are pros and cons, because obviously sometimes an actor is very happy with a performance and the director is not, so it's frustrating. But when you're the director, if you're happy with a performance, you give yourself also much more freedom to actually explore, improvise, change dialogue, change in the blocking. So obviously you are less in control behind the camera, because you always have to watch back what you have done, or you have to completely relate to the cinematographer. But at the same time, it empowers you a lot as an actor, because obviously you are in charge of also in the post-production, which take you want to choose. It's up to you. So it's,
right, so you can make everyone else look worse so that you look better.
If you want, yes.
So this sort of feeds into that question, but how, as an actor, so say you're just as an actor, as a director, purely as a director, how hands-on are you with the actors? Because I've heard stories about guys like Woody Allen who famously leave them alone and don't do anything, and then you have like Kubrick who's using everybody as props. What's your process like in terms of that?
I personally love to empower the actors. So also I have a company that is called the Thespian Films, and Thespian was the name just because for me it's important to centralize the work of the actor on set. So personally I work a lot during like a pre-production, kind of Mike Lee style, in a way that a lot of improvisation, a lot of rehearsals. And when we are on set, obviously I still leave some freedom to the actors if they want to change a little bit their lines, if they want to modify some movement. But obviously when the scene is blocked and lit, an actor needs to respect and be able to justify the performance and leave the performance with the blocking that has been given by the director. That being said, I'm very happy to always give the actor as much as freedom that they want, because I personally think that the actor should know the character so much more than the director and the screenwriter, because they're basically living the character.
Okay, so as long as they know their dramatic beats and that kind of thing, you're happy to let them be themselves within that.
Obviously, yeah. Yes, in some circumstances, for example, if you direct like a period piece, an historical piece, it's slightly different also with the use of the language, because there is certain way that the character has to talk, or the posture and body language that they need to respect the period. But in modern and current circumstances, so if they are playing something modern, yes, I'm very open to give a lot of freedom. Yeah.
And do you like being treated like that as an actor? Do you like having a director treat you with the same sort of looseness?
Yes, absolutely. You want to feel in safe hands as an actor. So obviously, if you're not sure about your performance, you want to be reassured, you want to be guided. But at the same time, as you said, in terms of Kubrick, or you don't want to be used as like a prop, or like just do this, talk in this way, move like this, because otherwise, where is my art as an actor?
Yeah.
What can everyone else can do what I do, basically. So I cannot even express myself. So yes.
Yeah, got you. Arafili, do you want to come up? Have we got some comments?
Yeah,
so Arafili is going to join us. You remember Arafili?
Hello.
Yes, so nice to see you.
Lovely film. Thanks so much for
Come in.
allowing
Thank
us
you.
to screen it. So we have the same comment from 3 people. They thought it looked, it is very similar to Life is Beautiful. Was it an influence?
Oh, okay. Well, not really.
Just it's Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Italian, obviously.
You seem to have the same words in it.
Well, in some way I can understand the similarity in terms of the character, maybe the Italian and this energy and the kind. But obviously the topic, I don't even want to go into that. Life is Beautiful is about a beautiful poetic story on the Holocaust and a masterpiece in my opinion. But no, it wasn't for sure one of the inspiration for this. But I deeply appreciate whoever commented on this. Thank you so much, because it's a huge honor.
It was Lucas Goldman and Marian Blanc. Also, we have another question from Daniel Thomas Freeman, hello, which is great locations. Where did you find them? Did you cover that?
No.
Oh.
The location, yes, is absolutely beautiful. It's called the Sermoneta. Is a beautiful village in the Lazio region, so near Rome. And is one of the most well-preserved medieval city in Europe. For example, also Matteo Garrone shot a few scenes of one of his films there. Oh my God, the Tale of Tales. So it's a beautiful location. Whatever you see, it's real, medieval, and it's yes, that vibe. And obviously, a great location like that gives so much production value to the film.
And cinematography. Who is your cinematographer?
It's Giacomo La Monaca is an amazing cinematographer. We frequently work together in almost all my projects. He always shot everything, and we have very similar tastes. And as much as I love to work with actors, he's very much in charge and creatively of the photography. We have a lot of discussion about everything.
That's for another episode.
Yeah, very talented.
Okay, and last question. Yes, because I'm coming from Greece, and this slapping in the back of the head has been a big part of the Greek comedies as I was growing up.
Like the beginning where she smacks him.
Yeah, you know how the priest always smacks you behind the head?
Sorry, the audio went off. Can you repeat again? Ask again, please.
The audio's off.
I just thought that there was a very... Can you hear us?
You with us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I can.
I just thought there was a very similar humor to the Greek comedies that I've seen growing up. You know, it's very warm, it's very sassy. And I was wondering if you think, since there's different types of humor, depending on the country, if there are different schools of acting. That's my question.
Well, Yeah, that is the problem. One of the issue with acting. I mean, like Greece, Italian, Spanish, we're quite of similar vibe, also humor, I would say, because I completely agree. When I watch Greek films, yes, I found it hilarious. But different countries has definitely different humor. So what it works maybe in Italy, it doesn't necessarily work like in other countries, and it's absolutely true. And this is one of the limitations of comedy, unfortunately, because drama, horror, these are universal. So wherever they work everywhere. But comedies, and there are very famous cases in Italy of huge films that in Italy were like box office hits, that relates very much on Italian way of having fun and humor that they tried to export, and they absolutely were like not successful. So yes, definitely there is in some way there is a limitation. There is a way that things can work more in some countries rather than other. In general, I think that physical comedy is something that is slightly more universal, but obviously if it's a comedy like Woody Allen based on the language, probably you will never be able to export something from Italy outside because the joke don't translate, in my opinion.
I'm going to take some more.
She's gonna go back off screen. Thank you, Arafili.
Oops.
Get out.
Thank you.
Actually, that feeds back to the thing before about Benini, potentially, where this is a kind of, like, me being from Toronto and being rather uncultured in general. I remember hearing about him way back in the day when that movie was very successful. So maybe, there's something to that idea that he was a guy who was able to, in that film, Life is Beautiful, was able to translate. And then you've got this, you're in the same groove, potentially, because you're quite a worldly guy, you've lived all over. And
Yeah, definitely. There are definitely some exceptions, and depend also on the humor. And in case of Life is Beautiful, we don't have to forget, yes, there is comedy, but obviously it's also quite dramatic in the end. It's a dramatic story told with humor and lightness. That is wonderful, I think. But there are a few exceptions. But then, other movies that came after from Benigni, also they weren't, for example, like The Tiger and the Snow, Pinocchio, they weren't so successful. So it's always quite a challenge, I would say. But there are a lot of other films also from Greece and French that found a lot of fortune outside.
It's that humanity. It's got to have that humanity, that universal humanity in it. And that kind of thing. Francesco, you're a great artist. We love you here at Emerging Filmmakers Night. Thank you so much for letting us show your film. Guys at home, you've got your Thespian Films on there. I know you're teaching acting. You've got quite a lot to say on the subject, so anyone can get in touch with you through that. Is that a...
Absolutely. Whenever, if you have any question or anything, feel free in touch to contact me. But thank you so much for this opportunity. It's always so great to see you and Harry feel it. So
awesome, man.
Absolutely.
Lots of love, bro.
Thank you.
Okay, take care. We'll see you again. Bye. Great. Cool. With that, give it up, folks, for Francesco Gabriele. I am now going to